how you put yourself out there in the world is super important, right? In one of Tony Robbins' seminars, everybody knows Tony Robbins, right? He's a beast. You can't not know Tony Robbins. Like him or love him or hate him, everybody knows Tony Robbins, right? In one of his seminars, it was on reaching unlimited power. One of the things that he stated, and it's what we believe and it's what we apply to all of our clients, is that success leaves clues, right? That people who produce outstanding results, they do specific things to create those results. And that's one of the things that if you can learn that when it comes to your commercial real estate brand, you will have the foundation that you need to be super successful. I think you all have probably heard me say this before. There was an agent once who went to a training. She went to a real estate training. It wasn't one of ours. And they mentioned, about marketing. You got to get your marketing. So she went to some do-it-yourself website, do-it-yourself website template, and she created her own website. The problem was she didn't look at any other site to model to see what do people do who are super successful in the industry. What do those companies do, right? So she created her website. It was purple, and the whole thing was purple background. Purple's beautiful. I love purple. You might see me wearing purple on one of these calls during the next 5 weeks. However, purple should never be on your website, right? Because there is not one commercial real estate company in this country, or probably even in one of the other countries, has a purple website, right? So it sets the wrong tone. And one of the things that I see people get caught up in when it's time to name your company, when it's time to put yourself out there, is they get too sentimental about it, way too sentimental. And so what happens is they start thinking about, I want to be like this, and I want people to feel this. When really there's only a few categories people need to feel. They need to feel that you are qualified, that you are trustworthy, that you know what the heck you're talking about, and that if they call you, there's a strong chance it might be a good experience, where only you yourself could mess it up. Like if they call you and you all don't vibe, that should be the only thing that they really feel, right? And that you're innovative, that you're cutting edge. That's kind of it. That's all you really want them to feel. You don't want to get into your personal thoughts about yourself and how you want people to see you. You want to be professional. Super professional. So this young lady, purple is a color that represents royalty, right? So she got all caught up with her logo, very frilly and curly and princessy. How much business do you think she got? How many people do you think actually called her? Because, and she had a picture of herself that was a snapshot, and she was very proud of herself, and she posted it in this group. And just like, hey guys, I just did my website. And I know she was proud because I'm sure it took her a long time to do all that, because websites take a hot minute to get it done. It takes a lot if you do it right. She put herself out there in that kind of way, and she was very proud of herself. And so she wanted everyone in her group, her peers, to tell her it was good, which unfortunately a lot of them did because they wanted to support, not telling her that you're not going to be able to get business from this. You may want to make some adjustments to your layout. So one of the things that's always served me well in my career, and it's what I've been able to do for other people, is to give them that. I went to college for public relations, so this is like in my blood. It's like even my birth father, is the marketing person. So it's in my DNA. So I've always just been naturally inclined to that, and I've always focused on modeling what works. So like Tony Robbins said, success leaves clues. So when you are thinking about what you're going to create for yourself, what type of image you're going to do, if this is something that you're doing yourself, you want to make sure that you have taken a look at some of the top people, like, or not people, more corporations is what I would look at. And then you can give it a little bit more pizzazz, give it a little bit more energy. But at the end of the day, it should be something that they have, that other people are doing, right?
Right. And I just want to add a little bit to that.
Sure.
When it comes to it, what's happening right now is so crucial, right? One of the challenges that a lot of my clients who are video coaching clients have is that they come from a world of back in the days television, where it was like, hey, everybody, okay, and today we're going to be showing you how to do, it's going to be great. And they're doing a lot of those things, but the trend has changed since YouTube has come,
right.
And our ADD has kicked in really strong. So people are, first of all, what's it going to do for me? Tell me that in the first 3 seconds, right? What's spending my time watching you going to do for me? And then you go into, you tell them what it's going to do for them, then you go into that. But that's a new way of communicating. Just like you see commercials have changed. There's no more cereal commercials. There's no more Ronald McDonald the Clown. There's you got to see what's going on right now. Like everybody has the ability to do this, but that's the thing that I kind of pride myself on, is that I'm always watching what's happening right now, not what happened 6 months ago, a year ago. Who's rocking it right now? Who is crushing it right now? Because if they're crushing it right now, they've tapped into the national psyche. They've tapped into what's happening in people's brains and how people are making buying and purchasing decisions right now. If those big corporations and companies, they'll spend 100,000, they'll spend 5%, right? They'll spend millions on creating short form content or something that's gonna really engage the audience where they're at. And when they pay these big time agencies a whole bunch of money to do these things, a lot of time these agencies have looked at all kinds of metrics that we don't even know about. But the beautiful thing about that is that we can copy what they've done. We can see and break down, how are they doing this? How is this messaging working? And we can apply that to us. And we can put it out there and we can distribute on social media that same mechanisms that they're using to really reach a large audience. We can be the Tony Robbins of our little social area, of our town. Take those mechanisms that Gary Vee and Tony Robbins and all those people use and be that person, be the Oprah Winfrey of your town. How does Oprah do what she does? How does Gail do what she does? How do these top television reporters do what they do? And how can I take some of that body language, some of that vocalization, some of the way they structure their content and take that and then become the celebrity in my small town and niche? And that's what I want you to be the meta thought as you go forward. You don't have to be exactly like them, but take some of their principles. Like if you're going to go to a party, right? What are they wearing? What kind of clothes are they wearing? If you're in a region, they dress differently in California than they do in Chicago. They dress differently in New York than they do in Miami. What's it like in that area? So you can say, I don't want to stand out looking crazy at this party, so I'm going to find out what's the get up for this. That's what we're trying to do with y'all. Take the corporate dominating forces and bring all of that stuff down to a place where you can stand out in your market as that huge brand and organization. So that's the meta thing that we're going after.
Speaking of motivational speakers like Gary Vee and Tony Robbins, is there, by a show of hands, you can hit that little hand thing down there, how many people know, like a lot of the listen to top motivational speakers, and that can be whether they're like business related or whether they're like spiritual related, like pastors or something. How many people like listen to, got 2 or 3 that come to mind right away at the top of your mind?
Yeah, just type it in the thing if you got some of your favorites in the chat.
Awesome. So have you ever noticed that even though each one of them have something different, to say, it's all kind of the same, just a different style maybe, but they're all kind of saying the same thing? Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah.
You know why that is? It's because there's only one truth, right? There's only one truth. If something is working, it's because there were strategies and psychological things, techniques that made that thing work, even if it's something that's built into the universe. It's something that works. So once you realize and discover what works, then you put your spin on it and you share it, right? So with that being said, the definition of modeling is the process of discovering exactly and specifically what people do to produce a specific result. That's all modeling is.
Yeah.
And to go figure that out, all you got to do is go to our best friends Google and YouTube.
Yep.
And do a search. So if you're putting yourself out there as a commercial real estate broker, what are they doing? What are they doing? How are they presenting themselves? What are they focused on? And what tools are they using? Those are the 4 questions you want to look into, and that will give you inspiration for what you need to do to build your own. And then brand story. I know I've told you, I ripped off a lot of things as marketing, and there's even more in the checklist because the checklists are going to help you to go over your own brand. But one of the things that's super important, guys, before any technique, any strategy, is setting your goals, knowing what you want to do, and knowing who you are talking to. Like when I say who you're talking to, what I mean is who do you want to attract? Who's your ideal client? You have to identify that, and it cannot be, oh, well, I want to get everybody. You don't want to get everybody. You will get everybody if you speak to one specific person, but you ever pick up something like you maybe read a sales letter or watch a commercial and you're like, yes, that's me. This is exactly what I need. This is the company that I need to call. They can help me. It's because those people are speaking directly to you. In fact, you know what? When all of you, we met somewhere, right? You all heard one of us talk somewhere, right? And at some point you decided, oh, these people can help me with what I need. So let me reach out to them and talk to them to see if they can help me. It's that same effect when it comes to you as brokers. You have to put yourself out there in a way through your brand story, through your content that makes people think when they go to your website or they listen to one of your videos or they hear your podcast or they interact in some kind of way that's not face to face, that they think, you know what, let me call this company because I think they can help me. So that's what you want, and that depends a lot on your brand story and your bio, which Ross is going to share with you guys about how do you craft your brand story.
Yes. All right.